Classical liberals believe that the only legitimate purpose of government is to prevent coercion and to promote voluntary cooperation among responsible individuals. Milton Friedman called himself a classical liberal, and his summary is excellent. The existence of a free market does not, of course, eliminate the need for government. On the contrary, government is essential both as a forum for determining the rules of the game and as an umpire to interpret and enforce the rules decided upon. This perspective is consistent with the Declaration of Independence, which begins, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." You might think of the pursuit of happiness being equivalent to being the pursuit of self-interest. The Declaration continues that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Benjamin Franklin said, "Where liberty dwells, there is my country." The perspective of the classical liberal leads to a short list of roles that justify government action. Government is important to protect people from harm, which includes murder, theft, and extortion. To provide for the national defense to protect people from invasion. To define and enforce property rights and contracts so that everyone knows who owns what and what constitutes a contract when two people agree to trade. Government or courts instituted by them are important to adjudicate disputes over property rights and contracts, to help a seller collect when a deadbeat refuses to pay, and a buyer collect when a buyer refuses to deliver. And finally, when someone violates a contract, or even worse, steals or deceives, courts or government should be there to redress the harm caused on the other person. Clearly defined property rights promotes voluntary cooperation. This can be illustrated sort of neatly by considering the proliferation of chickens in the United States and the near extinction of black rhino in Africa. In the United States, farmers own the chickens they breed. Therefore, they have an incentive to increase and maintain the size of their flocks so that they have chickens to sell to people buying poultry. On the other hand, in many or most cases, no one person owns black rhinos in Africa. Black rhinos are typically owned by a tribe instead of an individual. It's owned by it's viewed as communal property on land owned by the group owned by the group. Since no individual benefits from increasing or maintaining the size of the herd, no individual has a strong incentive to protect the black rhinos from poachers, even though killing the rhinos is illegal. The consequence is that black rhinos are endangered. Now, when I talk about the market system, I'm going to be referring to a system where the government plays the limited roles envisioned by classical liberals. In this taxonomy, when an economy relies on markets and the government does more than prevent coercion and promote voluntary cooperation, the economy is a mix of the market system and command economy. As we'll see, the U.S. economy is clearly a mix of market and command and control. I want you to recognize that not everyone agrees with the classical liberal perspective. Here are two other alternative perspectives. Some people think that the government should act whenever the sum of the benefits exceeds the sum of the cost. I believe this is called utilitarianism. People who are strong believers in democracy think that government should act whenever a majority of the voters agree. If 51 out of 100 people say do it, the government should do it. These are two different perspectives, but these are not the perspectives of the classical liberal, and it's not going to be the perspective that I'm going to use when I talk about the market system.